Okay guys, so today's video is going to be all about ball striking, and this is the biggest problem that I tend to see with golfers. Golfers that are trying to get their hands further forward, coming in towards that impact area, but it doesn't matter how hard they try, they can't seem to do it. And this video is going to explain why. So in today's video, we're not only going to talk about why and how to fix it, but actually at the end of the video, I'm also going to talk about the sort of secret to change. How do you actually make a swing change? Starting to see some fantastic results with people that I've been teaching. I'm documenting this on the YouTube channel as well, so subscribe if you haven't done already to make sure you don't miss out. Let's get stuck into the video first and foremost about ball striking. Okay, so ball striking. There's absolutely no doubt that the two biggest parts of the majority, vast majority of amateur golfers' games, which really kind of suggest their handicap, is driver off the tee and frequency of contact. So I'm not saying you're going to hit it like a tour pro and really pure it and compress the golf ball and hit it miles, but what I'm saying is just at least avoid and eliminate any mishits. And that's a real big problem. Golfers that I go around with that struggle on the golf course are generally struggling off the tee to get it in play, and then are really struggling to get contact. And you haven't heard it, I don't think, said this way, which is obviously what I'm going to be talking about today, because there's lots of videos on contact and they're correct. There's nothing wrong with the videos that you'd have watched and the advice that you've been given. But like golf, there's always more options than just potentially one. Now, the general narrative when it comes to ball striking is to just stay centered, okay? And again, like I said, this is correct, because being centered, and if we were to use the sort of sternum position, or if you just like the spine position, if you can keep your spine over the golf ball, that's going to increase your chances of controlling what is known as the low point in the golf swing. And if you can control the low point, that therefore increases your chances of contact. Correct. But there's different ways to do it. And I think the better way to think about it is to think about your hands. And the reason why is because I see lots of people that I teach that stay very centered in the backswing position, and their hands still travel on too wide a path on the way down, therefore encouraging the club to come down too early. The club is therefore rising. Now, when the club is rising, you're actually potentially still bringing in heavy shots where you hit the ground early and thin shots, okay? And not only are you doing that, the problem is because you're not controlling the semicircle or the little arc that we swing on, you can actually miss towards the right and towards the left, hence the level of inconsistency. So if you're a golfer who likes staying centered over the golf ball, I'm not suggesting not to do that. But what I am suggesting is that your hands have a real strong influence in controlling the low point. And we see this obviously with professional golfers who keep their head very much on the back of the ball, but they lead with the hands, and this helps them control that low point in itself. And it might just be a fresh approach for some of you that have been trying to stay centered, still suffering with ball striking, because I see it all the time. I see golfers that, you know, they're so centered, it's almost like a reverse pivot. They get ahead of the ball. Well, you know, this club's going to come down so steep, so your hands have to go wide to avoid kind of like a risk to injury. And then, you know, you're going to get mishits moving in that sort of fashion. So, as always, if we're going to be thinking more about how the hands should be moving coming in towards that hit, how do we go about that? And have we got a simple drill for you guys to do? Of course we have. The drill that I want to do is basically just a sequencing drill. Okay. And what it is, and the sort of whole nooks and crooks about the video is, instead of trying to control contact by always sort of smothering it with your body, and then your arms get kind of left out of sync, it's a case of, okay, well, let's just try and keep that head still, bring the arms down, marry it all up, right? So if you kind of swing up to the top and pause, the first part of the drill is just, you're going to tell yourself just to drop. So you're basically just going to get the elbow, yeah, exactly, you're going to drop the elbow down towards the side of your hands, right? Towards the side of your body. Perfect. Simple as that. Now, if people want to incorporate a little bit of rotation in there, a bit of chest rotation, then they can, but leave that down to each in their own. If you do it again, so we're going to do drop, and then we're going to just do like a throw. And the reason why we're going to talk about the throw is because people often get quite uncertain, I think, when they start doing this, like how you're going to hit the ball. if you go back to the dropping position, what is also really important to note is that if you drop, the throw will happen. So as soon as your hand, goes past horizontal, the club is always going to have that tipping point, and it's always going to just basically travel out. So you can't stop that. And that's one of the reasons why, if you swing up to the top again and pause, that's one of the reasons why if this time you sort of move your head in front of it, and then it kind of causes a casting motion, because otherwise you'd be too steep, Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's the whole thing and the whole feature of this video. So we swing up, we drop, and then we throw. And then the only last thing that you have to do, which George is doing very naturally, is just to make sure that when you're doing these rehearsal swings, you're squaring the face, okay? So you're going up, drop, throw down to the ball, perfect. And then what you can start to do is you can do that and hit some shots. I'm gonna put you under the spot here. So you're gonna, first one, so you're gonna swing up, tell yourself drop, now throw and hit it. Perfect. A little bit heavy. I'll give you that, it's okay. I'll give you 6 out of 10. So we'll do it again. But sequencing, and then this is something that you can tell yourself on the golf course. So next time you can make this one a little bit more sort of fluid, so you can feel the drop and then the throw. Perfect, And this is the drill. This is what I want you to do. It's something you can then end up taking down towards the golf course. Swing up, drop it down, throw it towards the back of the golf ball. So it's very much a up, drop, throw drill, really simple, and then you can start to make it more and more seamless as time goes on. Good. Hopefully you'll find that really, really useful. Channel is all about you guys improving and me talking very openly about improvement. And what you've noticed recently, if you've been watching the content, is we've taken about 6 or 7 golfers on a progression journey. What happened is not a lot to start off with, I'll be honest with you. Traditional golf lessons, they knew the things that they needed to work on, but there wasn't much of a change and much of a shift with the swing, right? Now, they could get better, and so can you guys, because in golf, you only have to move the club face a little bit or change the path a little bit to change the ball flight. But if you've got a technical deficiency, you need to eradicate that, and that's harder to eliminate. And I've been banging my head against the wall thinking, how am I going to get these golfers to get into better positions to improve their golf? And it's materialized on its own accord. See, the big secret, if you want to start changing your golf swing, is real basic stuff. It's be careful about practice and the narrative you're telling yourself. So the idea of, I'll go and hit loads of balls down the driving range. No, right? Why not? Because you're just going to ingrain the same habit. That's all you're doing, right? So what I started to do with people, as I said, look, you go down to the range, you're just going to hit 20 balls. Okay, and if you're going to buy 100 balls, that's fine, but chip and pitch some of them, or go and whack a couple if you've had a bad day at work or whatever, but we're not going to spend too much time hitting like 107 irons or something like that. So you're going to strip it down to anything between a dozen to 20 balls. And when you're doing that, you're going to outweigh the number of practice repetitions to the hits. So they do anything between 3 to 4 swings. All of a sudden, concentration improved. They valued the time of the practice more, wanted to make a bigger change, videoed their progression, were sending it to me for self-reflection, and all of a sudden, changes started to happen. On the flip side to that as well, the biggest thing that I now say to every student, admittedly online at the moment, because still not quite back to face-to-face teaching, but you've got to video your swing when you play. You have to. I know you'll be like, oh, I don't want it, I'm playing with my mates. Not tournament golf, but just occasionally just video it, because you'll be absolutely amazed as to how your golf swing looks when you're playing golf as opposed to when you're down the driving range. And that self-reflection or that self-realization is how you're going to improve. And that's what we're going to see with these people moving forward. These people that are trying to make their golf swing change and are completely putting themselves out there for all of you to learn from as well. And that's what you need to do. So the secret to making a swing change is not lying in the answer of anything other than self-realization. So should you be doing drills? Yes, you should do drills, because drills help you get conscious competence. But you need to be videoing yourself when you play, and you need to be careful with how much repetition and what you're doing. 4 to 5 practice swings for every hit. Absolutely brilliant. Start to video yourself on the golf course. You can't hide. You'll have to change, and that's it. See you guys again really soon.